بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Today's lesson inshallah is a revision session. I know at the end of the last lesson I said it's not going to be a full revision session. However, after talking to some of the brothers, we decided to make it a revision session, and we also sent a message into a group yesterday. We sent a message into all the groups on Instagram, on WhatsApp, and also on Telegram. We sent a message that there's no new memorization, and today will be a revision session from the beginning of the book until where we have taken. So we're going to start with reciting of the matan from the beginning. And regarding the recitation of the matan, those who have memorized, you are all reciting to your appointed person to recite to. However, it's very, very important to keep up with the revision of the memorization. If you just memorize, you're going to forget. So please be going over what you have memorized also from the beginning. Make sure that you are, by the end of this, you are able to recite from the beginning of the matan till the end without any mistakes, any stuttering. And if you can do that 3 times, because sometimes you can do it once, but that's just because you just were looking at it. And if you were to leave it and come back the next day, you'd probably forget a bit. So keep going over it. And if you can do that 3 times, i.e. 3 days in a row, then that shows that you have memorized it. So we're going to start, inshallah. And it's too much to listen to the whole thing from both people. So we're going to split it up, inshallah. So we'll start off with the Ridwan.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اعلم رحمك الله أنه يجب علينا تعلم 4 مسائل. الأولى العلم، وهو معرفة الله ومعرفة نبيه ومعرفة دين الإسلام بالأدلة. الثانية العمل به. الثالثة الدعوة إليه. الرابعة الصبر على الأذى فيه. والدليل قوله تعالى: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. قال الشافعي رحمه الله تعالى: لو ما أنزل الله حجة على خلقه إلا هذه السورة لكفتهم. وقال البخاري رحمه الله تعالى: باب العلم قبل القول والعمل. والدليل قوله تعالى: فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله واستغفر لذنبك. فبدأ بالعلم قبل القول والعمل.
Kareem.
اعلم رحمك الله أنه يجب على كل مسلم ومسلمة تعلم 3 هذه المسائل والعمل بهن. الأولى أن الله خلقنا ورزقنا ولم يتركنا حملا، بل أرسل إلينا رسولا فمن أطاعه دخل الجنة ومن عصاه دخل النار. والدليل قوله تعالى: إنا أرسلنا إليكم رسولا شاهدا عليكم كما أرسلنا إلى فرعون رسولا فعصى فرعون الرسول فأخذناه أخذا وبيلا. الثانية أن الله لا يرضى أن يشرك معه أحد في عبادته، لا ملك مقرب ولا نبي مرسل. ودليل قوله تعالى: وأن المساجد لله فلا تدعوا مع الله أحدا.
Okay, stop. Ammar, Kareem.
الثانية أن من أطاع الرسول وحد الله لا يجوز له.
Listen.
الثالثة أن من أطاع الرسول وحد الله لا يجوز له موالاة من حاد الله ورسوله ولو كان أقرب قريب. والدليل قوله تعالى: لا تجد قوما يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر يوادون من حاد الله ورسوله ولو كانوا آباءهم أو أبناءهم أو إخوانهم أو عشيرتهم أولئك كتب في قلوبهم الإيمان وأيدهم بروح منه ويدخلهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه أولئك حزب الله ألا إن حزب الله هم المفلحون. اعلم أرشدك الله لطاعته أن الحنيفية ملة إبراهيم أن تعبد الله وحده مخلصا له الدين، وبذلك أمر الله جميع الناس وخلقهم لها كما قال تعالى: وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون. ومعنى يعبدون يوحدون، وأعظم ما أمر الله به التوحيد وهو إفراد الله بالعبادة، وأعظم ما نهى عنه الشرك وهو دعوة غيره معه. والدليل قوله تعالى: واعبدوا الله ولا تشركوا به شيئا. فإذا قيل لك ما الأصول الثلاثة التي يجب على الإنسان معرفتها؟ فقل معرفة العبد ربه ودينه ونبيه محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Okay, stop. رضوان.
الأصل الأول: فإذا قيل لك من ربك فقل ربي الله الذي رباني ورب جميع العالمين بنعمه، وهو معبودي ليس لي معبود سواه. والدليل قوله تعالى: الحمد لله رب العالمين، وكل ما سوى الله عالم، وأنا واحد من ذلك العالم. فإذا قيل لك بما عرفت ربك فقل بآياته ومخلوقاته، ومن آياته الليل والنهار والشمس والقمر، ومن مخلوقاته السماوات السبع ومن فيهن، والأراضون السبع ومن فيهن وما بينهما. والدليل قوله تعالى: ومن آياته الليل والنهار والشمس والقمر، لا تسجدوا للشمس ولا للقمر واسجدوا لله الذي خلقهن إن كنتم إياه تعبدون. وقوله تعالى: إن ربكم الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش، يغشي الليل النهار يطلبه حثيثا، والشمس والقمر والنجوم مسخرات بأمره مسخرات بأمره ألا له الخلق والأمر. تبارك الله.
ألا له الخلق والأمر.
تبارك الله رب العالمين. وربه هو المعبود. والدليل قوله تعالى: يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون، الذي جعل لكم الأرض فراشا والسماء بناء وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرج به من ثمرات رزقا لكم، فلا تجعلوا لله أندادا وأنتم تعلمون. قال ابن كثير رحمه الله تعالى: الخالق لهذه الأشياء هو المستحق للعبادة.
Okay, stop. عمار, finish off.
وأنواع العبادة التي أمر الله بها مثل الإسلام والإيمان والإحسان، ومنها الدعاء والخوف والرجاء والتوكل والرغبة والرهبة والخشوع والخشية والإنابة والاستعانة والاستعاذة والاستغاثة والذبح والنذر وغير ذلك من أنواع العبادة التي أمر الله بها كلها لله تعالى. والدليل قوله تعالى: وأن المساجد لله فلا تدعوا مع الله أحدا، فمن صرف منها شيئا لغير الله فهو مشرك كافر. والدليل قوله تعالى: ومن يدع مع الله إلها آخر لا برهان له به فإنما حسابه عند ربه إنه لا يفلح الكافرون. وفي الحديث: الدعاء مخ العبادة. والدليل قوله تعالى: وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم إن الذين يستكبرون عن عبادتي سيدخلون جهنم داخرين. ودليل الخوف قوله تعالى: فلا تخافوهم وخافون إن كنتم مؤمنين. ودليل الرجاء قوله تعالى: فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا. ودليل التوكل قوله تعالى: وعلى الله فتوكلوا إن كنتم مؤمنين. وقوله: ومن يتوكل على الله فهو حسبه. والدليل الرغبة والرهبة والخشوع قوله تعالى: إنهم كانوا يسارعون في الخيرات ويدعوننا رغبا ورهبا وكانوا لنا خاشعين. ودليل الخشية قوله تعالى: فلا تخشوهم واخشون. ودليل إنابة قوله تعالى: وأنيبوا إلى ربكم وأسلموا له. ودليل استعانة قوله تعالى: إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. وفي الحديث: إذا استعنت فاستعن بالله. والدليل استغاثة قوله تعالى: قل أعوذ برب الفلق وقل أعوذ برب الناس. ودليل استغاثة قوله تعالى: إذ تستغيثون ربكم فاستجاب لكم. ودليل الذبح قوله تعالى: قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له. ومن السنة: لعن الله من ذبح لغير الله. ودليل النذر قوله تعالى: يوفون بالنذر ويخافون يوما كان شره مستطيرا.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khair, both of you. It's really good. Keep up, inshallah. That's how you want it. Barakallah feek. Now we're going to start the revision like we did previously, where I would go and pick random students, those who are on Zoom. As for those on Instagram, I can't, we can't join like that. I mean, we can, but the connection goes. So it's easier to do it on Zoom. But we'll start off with Ammar with the first question. Why do we study Tawheed?
We study Tawheed because this is the reason, this is the purpose we're created for, and no actions accepted except with Tawheed, and the intercession of the Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is all accepted with Tawheed, and you can your sins can be your sins can be forgiven with Tawheed, and
What's the opposite of that? What's the opposite of that?
And
Your sins being forgiven and you have an increase in good deeds.
Yes, due to the person's strength, due to the person's strength, his Tawheed his reward is increased. And from you can gain tranquility and peace and guidance and safety and protection. And paradise is only for the people of the people of Tawheed.
MashaAllah, you got 7. The one that you're missing is that it's a means of contentment and tranquility. MashaAllah, okay. Ridwan.
Yes.
Tell me what are the 3 fundamental principles and what's the fruits of studying this book?
They are the 3 questions of the grave. Who's your Lord, who's your Prophet, and what is your religion? And the fruits of knowing them is if one studies them and acts upon them, they will be able to answer them in the grave. If one does not act upon the knowledge, then they will not be able to answer them in the grave.
Okay, but why are we studying this book specifically? Why don't we study a different book? Like, I don't know, like Kitab al-Tawheed or Wasṭiyah or any other big book?
The ulama have said to study this book first before any of the other books, and we must start with the small books before we go to the bigger books.
Okay, MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. السلام عليكم. حياك الله يا أبا يعلى.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
Okay, how is the book split?
In 5 parts. The first part, the مسائل الأربع, the 4 principles, 4 rulings. يعني العلم, knowledge, acting upon knowledge, then da'wah and having sabr. Then مسائل الثلاث. المسائل الثلاث يعني that Allah created us. That Allah created us now, and secondly that Allah is isn't pleased with shirk, and thirdly bara'ah. Then
Okay, these مسائل الثلاثة, which means 3 points regarding Tawheed. The first one is not that Allah created us. We give it a different name. We talked about Tawheed, Rububiyyah, and
Rububiyyah, al-asma wa sifat.
That was the first point. The second point was Tawheed,
al-uluhiyyah.
And the third point was
al-bara'ah.
Al-bara'ah min shirk. Good. So this was the second part of the book, the 3 points.
Now, the third part is the importance of studying Tawheed. The fourth part are the actual 3 questions of the grave, the Usūl Thalāthah, and then the Khatimah, the ending of the book.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair, Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum, Musa. What's the meaning of the Basmala, and what's the difference between Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, and why does the Shaykh start off with it?
Okay, so the Basmala is just a short way of saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The difference between Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim is that Ar-Rahman is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy towards all of his creation. Like he in of himself is merciful, but Ar-Rahim is his, I think it's called Rahmatul Wasila, his rahmat towards the believers only. And the delil for that is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَانَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَحِيمًا, that he is merciful with the believers. And sorry, what was the third thing you asked?
Why does he start with the basmala?
Oh, he starts from the Basmala for a number of reasons. Firstly, he's following the example of the Prophet ﷺ, who in his letters to the Muluk, to the rulers of the world at that time, he started his letters with the Basmala. Also in the Quran, also apart from Surah Tawbah, start with the Basmala. And he's also following the example of the Salaf, rahimahumullah. They would start their letters in their books with the Basmala. And it's also to seek a tabarruk min Allah Ta'ala, like saying, he's essentially, like in the Quran, he said, Bismillahi Aqra.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, Adil. Adil, you there? You don't work your mic? Khair. Barakallah fiik. Assalamu alaikum, Abu Dawud. What are the 4 points that we learn in Surah Al-Asr?
Surah Al-Asr, we learned about the first point, 4 points. The first point regarding the knowledge, to have knowledge. Second thing about the actions, and then to have patience.
Knowledge and action, before patience.
Knowledge.
Teach others, give da'wah. Call to it.
Call to it, and then later the fourth one is the patience.
And then we have sabr. Okay, jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Abdul Fattah. So tell me what are the conditions of giving da'wah.
First of all, you have to have sincerity, only do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second is you have to have knowledge. And third is you have to have wisdom. And fourth is you have to know the people who will give you da'wah.
MashaAllah, very good. So you have to be sincere, you have to have knowledge, you have to have wisdom and patience, and you have to know the people. What are the 3 types of sabr?
Sabr upon the obedience of Allah, like salah and fasting, and sabr upon staying away from sins, and sabr upon the qadr of Allah, the degree of Allah.
MashaAllah. Beautiful. Barakallah. Assalamu alaikum, Adnan.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته أستاذ.
Okay, this book is split into 5 parts. We just talked about the first part. Now the second part, we mentioned that there are 3 points that I mentioned here. From them are the 3 types of Tawheed. Give me the definition of Tawheed and the 3 types and the definition of each type.
So Tawheed is ifradullah bil ibadah, that you single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only in worship.
That's not the definition of Tawheed.
That's not the definition of Tawheed.
No, ifradullah bil ibadah, that's not the definition of Tawheed that we give. You're close though.
I'm not sure. I don't remember what exactly the definition is.
Tawheed, I'll start it for you. Is singling out Allah in everything which is specific to Him.
Okay. So to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in everything that is specific to Him. And the 3 types of Tawheed. I'm sorry?
Finish off from including His rububiyyah, His lordship.
Okay. Including His rububiyyah, His uluhiyyah, and His asma and sifat, so His names and attributes. Okay,
so in lordship, in worship, and in names and attributes. The reason I said your definition is wrong is because that is a definition of uluhiyah, ifradullahi bil ibadah.
Okay.
Even though we did mention that this is the main type of tawheed which by the messengers was sent, but we stick to what's in the book. We stick to what the ulama have written, and that their definition is that tawheed is singling out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in everything which is specific or exclusive to Him, from His rububiyyah, uluhiyyah, and asma, lordship, worship, and names and attributes. Now, what are the three types of tawheed? Now, when you mention uluhiyyah, you mentioned that definition. So, what are the three types of tawheed, and what are the definitions?
So the three types of tawheed are tawheed al-uluhiyyah, tawheed al-rububiyyah, and tawheed al-asma' al-sifat. Tawheed al-uluhiyyah is the tawheed that is relating to godship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tawheed al-rububiyyah is anything relating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's lordship, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's control over the universe, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attribute as a Rabb. And Tawheed al-Asma' al-Sifat is anything that has to do with Allah's names and attributes. Basically, like, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His names and His Asma' al-Sifat that were revealed in the Quran, and doing ithbat of them, and not doing ta'wil, ta'til, tashbih, or tajseem. And doing ithbat of those would be Tawheed al-Asma' al-Sifat.
Okay, jazakallah khair.
وإياكم.
Okay. It's good answers. However, it was along the right lines, but it wasn't what we mentioned in the lesson, nor is it what the Sheikh mentioned in the book. So when you're studying this, we should stick to what the ulama say. But it's apparent to me that some people, when they answer, they've studied before and they're using what they've studied, which is all fair enough. However, we're teaching, so we're going to follow the same manhaj of the way we are teaching. So when I ask you questions, I want it as it is in the book. And I said that the book generally you don't have to memorize word for word. However, when it comes to definitions, that you do. Definitions, you have to know exactly what is in the book. So I'm going to ask this question again because this question is very important. Definition of Tawheed and the three types of Tawheed.
No,
Musa, answer the same question, inshallah.
The definition of the three types of Tawheed.
Definition of Tawheed and then the three types.
Okay, so the definition of Tawheed is to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every matter which is exclusive to Him, including His lordship, His right to worship, and His names and attributes. And then the first type of Tawheed, which I'm going to define Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, is to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with regards to every act of worship you do. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah is to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the creator and owner of everything in the universe, or of everything. And to single Tawheed al-Asma' al-Sifat is to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with regards to His names and attributes, affirming what He affirmed for Himself and negating what He negated about Himself. بغير without asking how, ولا تمثيل, without likening Him to any of His creation.
Okay, mashallah, that's good. Repeat what you said for Rububiyyah.
For Rububiyyah, I said it's to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the owner and creator of everything, and the one who maintains.
Okay, yeah. And just as a side point, remember we mentioned that Rububiyyah, the Shaykh mentions two definitions. That's one of them. Allah ta'ala is a creator, owner, and controller of everything. The second definition is to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His actions. So you could say, yeah, you can say any of them. Okay, in Asma wa Sifat, you just mentioned that there are four things we don't do. You said we don't distort the meaning, we don't negate the meaning, we don't ask how, nor do we liken Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the creation. Explain these four things.
Sorry, explain them.
Yeah, explain them.
Okay, so the first one, بغير تحريف, we don't make things up about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we use our imagination about Him. Essentially, we take it as it is from the Quran and the Sunnah. لا تعطيل, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala affirms something about Himself, then it's not right for us to come and negate that. So we don't negate anything He's affirmed about Himself with regards to His names and attributes. لا تكييف, we don't. This is what some deviant groups do. They try to use their aql to try and interpret this in their own deviated ways. We don't do that. Rather, we accept it how it is. And ولا تمثيل, we don't liken Him to any of His creation. So, مثلا, if He says if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He has a hand, then we don't say this is a human hand. Rather, we just accept it how it is.
Okay, jazakallah khair.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so these are four things that we can't do in Asma wa Sifat. Tahrif, distort the meaning, i.e. change the meaning. Nor do we ask how, that how did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala got a hand, how does that hand look like, nor do we liken Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the creation, nor do we negate. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says he's got a hand, we don't turn and say no, he's not got a hand. And it might seem straightforward, however, there are some sects that do this, such as Jahmiyyah, and they are, and the ulama have talked about them. Okay, then we moved on to freeing oneself from shirk. So, or from the people of shirk. Let's ask. Assalamu alaikum, Amir.
Alaikum salam.
Okay, when it comes to freeing oneself from shirk, there are 3 ways that you free oneself from shirk and its people, or 3 components that you use. What are these 3?
They are freeing yourself by way of speech, saying you're free from like what they worship, like the idols. It is from your heart, not like loving not loving them, and like what they love, like their shirk, and it's the actions. So not following their festivals and celebrations.
MashaAllah, very good. Okay, and when it comes to dealing with disbelievers, the people are split into 3. What are the 3 types of people?
They are those that like oppress the non-believers. They are like very like harsh towards them because of their beliefs. There are those that are in the middle, that they do transactions with the non-believers in the right way, and there's people that get like too close. Like sometimes they celebrate festivals or.
Okay, very good. So we have 2 extremes, and those in the middle. One extreme is they completely, they harm them, etc. And then the other extreme, they celebrate their festivals with them, celebrations, etc. And those in the middle, where we don't harm them, nor do we participate in their celebrations, but we're in the middle. Okay, so we tell them we are free from them. However, at the same time, we have still got to have good manners with them. We give them da'wah, we have transactions with them, and so on. Okay, Jazakallah khair. Okay, I don't want to ask any sisters. If there are any other brothers that have not asked, just put your hand up, inshallah, and I'll ask you. Assalamu alaikum, Mawdud.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, what's the meaning of Hanifiyya?
Hanifiyya is the way of Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is to worship Allah alone and to make the religion sincerely for Allah.
Good. Okay, so we turn the definition. What's the definition given in the book?
Do you mean the linguistic definition?
Okay, give me the linguistic definition.
Linguistic definition is to lean towards something.
To lean towards something. Okay, and Islamically?
Islamically, it is to be far from the path of shirk and upon ikhlas and iman and tawheed.
Okay, mashallah, very good. Okay, what are the 2 pillars of tawheed?
They are al-ithbat wa nafi, which is affirmation, al-ithbat, and nafi, which is negation.
Okay, what's the definition of worship?
The definition given by Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, which is اسم جامع لكل ما يحبه الله ويرضاه من الأقوال والأفعال الظاهرة والباطنة.
In English?
Which is a comprehensive term for everything which Allah loves and is pleased with, from actions and sayings that are apparent and hidden.
Okay, mashallah. What are the 2 conditions that we have to have for an act of worship to be accepted?
That they are al-ikhlas, and al-ikhlas, which is sincerity, and al-mutaba'ah, which is to follow the Prophet, the Sunnah of the Prophet.
Jazakallah khair. Barakallah. Assalamu alaikum, Siraj.
Alaikum salam.
What's the definition of shirk, and what are the types of shirk?
So shirk is just associating partners with Allah or completely worshipping other than Allah. And the types of shirk are minor and major.
Minor and major. Give me 3 differences between the 2, so I understand better.
Okay, so minor does not take you out of the fold of Islam, while major does. major nullifies all of your action before, but minor doesn't. And if you die upon major shirk, you'll be in the nar forever. But if you die upon minor shirk, you'll only be in the nar for a little bit.
Yeah, you'll be in the hellfire until you're punished for the shirk, and then after that, inshallah, you'll go into Jannah. Jazakallah khair, very good answer.
Oh, yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, Yusuf.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Okay, after this, what do we take after this? So far we have the book is split into 5 parts. We've just talked about the first 3. What do we take after this?
Pardon?
What do we take after this? After what we've just talked about, the first 3 parts of the book. Without looking in the book.
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay, how many parts is the book split into?
To 5 sections.
Okay, what's the first?
The first is the tafsir of Surah Al-Asr.
Okay, and what's the second?
The second is the 3 types of Tawheed.
It's 3 points regarding Tawheed. In there, the 3 types of Tawheed and freeing oneself from the people of shirk. What's the third?
Yes. The importance of Tawheed.
Okay, and what's the fourth?
The fourth is the 3 principles regarding
Okay, so this is where we are. We just talked about the first 3. We're on the 4th one. So the 3 fundamental principles. So what's the first one that we took from these 3 principles?
Man Rabbuk.
Man Rabbuk. Very good. Okay, tell me something. What was the meaning of the word Rabb?
Rabb is linguistically is like is Lord.
Okay, that's like a loose translation. Okay. But apart from that, we mentioned a statement of Shaykh al-Islam. You don't have to know it word for word, but give me a general overview of what. What does it mean to be a Rabb?
A Rabb is to single out any other lordship and to
That's Rububiyyah. That's Rububiyyah.
Okay, so basically, Rabb is like, it means Lord.
Okay. Alright, Jazakallah khair, Yusuf. Jazakallah khair. However, go over it more. Go over the lessons, what we said, and revise more. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
But there's no point just listening and forgetting. Then you just kind of waste your time. It's good, you've got reward for seeking knowledge, but the knowledge has just gone. Okay? Barakallah fiqh.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, Nabil.
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay, what do you say about Rabb?
I've forgotten the definition we talked about, but I understand that it was a Rabb, Lord was a loose translation.
Okay, just give me, you don't have to memorize exactly what word, if you do. However, just give me a general overview of what Rabb means. In your own words.
Ustad, I've forgotten.
Khair. I'm going to ask you other questions, inshallah.
Okay.
Don't worry. Okay, for everybody listening, here is what those on Zoom, they can screenshot this. And I've put this on my Instagram before, but I translated the statement of Shaykh al-Islam regarding Ar-Rabb. Okay? And for those on Instagram, I'm going to show it like this right now. You can try to screenshot that if you can read it. If it's come backwards, then I'll remind me later. I'll post it on my story, inshallah. However, Shaykh al-Islam, he defines the Rabb, and he says a Rabb is the nurturer, the Murabbi, who nurtures one. So we talked about this. Even before you were born, he nurtured you, he helped you grow, and whilst you were in the womb of your mother, he allowed food to come to you. Then you were born and he took care of you, allowed food to come to you, and then also intellectually you gain more knowledge, etc., all the way till the end of your life. We talked about this. So the Rabb is the nurturer, the creator, the provider, the one who grants victory, the guider, the one who gives guidance and guides people, And this name has the most right to be used in asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a need or for help. Okay, and this is a statement of Shaykh al-Islam. If you can memorize it word for word, that's good. However, if not, then have the general meaning that Rabb is it's not this Lord. Okay, it's more. It's the one who created you, the one who provides for you, the one who nurtured you. Very important. Okay, and all of the other characteristics that we mentioned. As for either those who on Zoom, they can screenshot this. Our brother Ridwan, mashallah, he did one last lesson, which I'll show again. He's got all of the 5 questions, which are the introductory questions, and he's put it into one page. So it's on one picture. So you can revise it all there. He's made it into 5, as you can see, and not 7. That's because I was on the phone with Sheikh Haytham Farhan, and I mentioned that Sheikh, I added 2 more, and then we had a discussion, and in the end came to a conclusion that it was better not to put the 2 extra and to stick with what is in the book. There are other things that I mentioned as well, but maybe the main thing is stick what's in the book, because the ulama, you know, they've gone through all this and they've thought about this in more depth than we have. So that's why we should stick to the ulama. So we should stick to what's in the book. And in the book there are 5 questions. So these are the 5 questions there. Just before I forget, he also made one for a dua, and this has been sent. Okay, those on Zoom, maybe screenshot of this. The one was sent, and then there was 1 or 2, not mistakes, but 1 or 2 things we have to change. So we sent this one. So make sure that you've got this one that I'm showing right now. There's I think a mistake in the Sheikh's name that we wrote, so we just changed some of those. And this is also, we also made it in Arabic as well. SubhanAllah, I don't think I have the picture with me, but we made one in Arabic, which I'll send into the WhatsApp group later, and also onto Instagram. We sent it to the Sheikh, and the Sheikh is happy with it. May Allah reward Brother Ridwan, puts a lot of effort in both in learning, revising, and helping out with the lessons as well. And that's one thing I wanted to mention regarding these lessons, that 1 or 2 people, you know, sometimes you can see Ridwan, he gets a few mistakes here and there when he's reciting, but alhamdulillah, that's good. That's because he's not hafiz. The other brothers that recite, they're hafiz of the Quran, hafaz of the Quran. So obviously their recitation is going to be better. They've, you know, learned it 10 years ago. And it's not the case with Ridwan, but he puts a lot of effort in. He revises the lessons and he helps out with the lessons. And that's what we want. We want hard work and sincerity. That's all that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. Allah's not going to look who's got the most knowledge. Oh, you got the most knowledge? High ranks in Jannah. La. We talked about this in the beginning. What's that beneficial knowledge? So actually, that's what we want. We want sincerity and hard work. And this will show itself in the long run. You'll find sometimes students, even in Jamia Islamiyah, they come with no knowledge, and there's other students who have studied for years and they come here. But by the end, this person who couldn't even recite Quran good in the beginning, the other students would be going to this student in the end, asking them for questions. And there's many stories that I've heard of the ulama. One story Sheikh Amir Bahjat, he mentioned of him having a classmate who couldn't even recite. However, every day after class, he was class in the morning, you know, from 8 till Dhuhr. Then from Asr all the way until after Isha, or I think Dhuhr till Isha, in the masjid, just memorizing Quran. And after Quran, he would do other things, other mutun. And after Isha, he would revise what he learned. Just the whole day studying. And then in the end, the other students would go to him asking him for questions. So that's what we want. And ask Allah Ta'ala to reward all those who are sincere, and to make us from those who are sincere. And don't worry, this is not just praising for Ridwan, because behind closed doors I tell him of Allah. So it balances out. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, Qasim.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
MashaAllah. Okay, after mentioning who is our Lord, the Shaykh, he mentions ways, he mentions signs. What are the 2 types of signs? How we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I'll help you. Wa alaikum assalam. Now, Qasim, can you hear me?
I can hear you, please.
Okay. So after mentioning who is our Lord, who is our Rabb, the Shaykh mentions how we know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are two types of signs. What are the two types of signs? I'll help you out. The first one is the legislated signs.
عفوا يا شيخ. I think I have missed that. I didn't get that. I'm sorry.
You didn't get that? Okay, khair, no problem. I'll ask you the questions, inshallah. Nabil, you answer this question, inshallah.
Yeah, it's بآياته ومخلوقاته.
Okay, آياته ومخلوقات. What does that mean?
His signs and his creations.
His signs and his creations, very good. But with the word ayat, I said the signs of Allah, two types.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll mention the two and you explain them. The first are his legislated signs. The second are his universal signs.
So legislated, I assume, from the Quran, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And sorry, universal signs are, well, ourselves, our bodies, general life around
Everything,
us, the earth,
everything, yeah.
everything, yeah.
Everything in the universe. Naam, jazakallah khair. Okay, barakallah. Okay, Abu Ya'la. Now we know who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. We know the signs of Allah. Okay, and the signs of Allah is basically the author using the rububiyyah of Allah to prove the uluhiyyah. Now we're going to move on to the ibadah, how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, now regarding dua, and we just put it up, so that was a quick revision of the picture we just put up. Tell me about dua. What are the two types of dua? What are the conditions? When can I make dua? Or ask a person regarding the means, what can I use, what can't I use? Explain all of that to me, please. Jazakallah khair.
Anyway, dua is split into two parts. The first part is dua or ibadah, and yani, basically this is all yani, all kind of ibadat, salah, zakah, siyam, talab al-ilm, inshallah. Everything is dua, is ibadah, and to yani, make this kind to other than Allah is shirk akbar, yani. To make salah to other than Allah, sujood other than Allah, it's basically shirk akbar. And then we have dua mas'alah, yani to ask someone something or for something, and this is split into two. If you ask something, if you ask Allah, and this is no problem, but if you ask a person about a thing which he can't do, yani, which is explicitly for Allah, khasun lillah, then this is also shirk akbar. But if you ask him for a thing which he can do, they have to be met for conditions. He has to be hayy, alive, hadir, he has to be here, and qadir, he has to be have the power and the ability to do it, and yet you believe that he's just a means, just a sabab, and not the actual one who does it. He's just a means. And if these four shurut are given, then it's permissible to ask other than Allah.
Good, very good. Okay, when it comes to the means, the asbab, people are split into three categories.
What
are these three?
The first group, they are the muwahhidun, the muslimun, the mu'minun. They are the people who take the things Allah made to means, they take these things also to means. They don't invent, they just take what is written in the Quran and Sunnah. And then you have other people, they take things as means which Allah didn't, He didn't make them means. For example, a person who hangs on a amulet, a blue eye, and he thinks that this will be protective. This will protect him from.
What's the ruling for this? For this type?
If he believes that this is a means to protect him from evil, then it's shirk asghar. But if he believes that this actual thing is the one who protects him, then it's akbar.
Akbar, and that's the third type of people that we talked about. They believe that the means itself. Okay, Debilita means itself is the one that gives harm or benefit. Okay, what are the different types of means? What can I take as a mean? What can't I?
We have أسباب شرعية and حسية. شرعية يعني it's the Quran مثلا. يعني رقية for example رقية شرعية that you read upon yourself or upon other person Quran to heal him or yourself. Then you have حسية, like for example the medicine. Allah has made the medicine a means to gain shifa.
Good. Okay, very good, mashallah. Jazakallah khair. So as everyone can see on the screen right now on Zoom, it's the same picture I brought up before. Okay, of dua. This is what the brother just mentioned. So all of this, by the way, is in the explanation of Shaykh Haytham Farhan. But it's all like maybe 2 or 3 pages. I wanted it all onto one page. So I just brought it onto this, and all of this is on one page. So to revise it, it's only one place. Okay, so this is regarding dua. Okay. Ammar, what are the different types of fear?
And there's fear of worship, natural fear, and prohibited fear.
Masha, explain all of them.
And fear of worship is when the person fears the one he's worshipping with complete submission and glorification. And if this is given to other than Allah, then it's a major shirk. Natural fear is a person just being normally scared of things that would make anyone else scared, like a lion or an enemy in front of him, or a spider or whatever. And a prohibited fear is that is haram, is a person losing hope in Allah, or obeying others in the disobedience of Allah.
Okay, mashallah. You said for natural fear, spider. You scared of spiders?
Maybe sometimes.
Barakallah feek. Okay, jazakallah khair. Okay, what about tawakkul? What's tawakkul? Give me a definition of tawakkul.
And tawakkul is to have true reliance on Allah and trust, and but to also come with the necessary means.
So, do you know the exact wording in the definition in the book?
And that's how I just read it to myself, and I just put in a flashcard to remember.
Okay, so say it again.
It's to have true reliance and trust in Allah, and but also to come with the necessary means.
Okay, that's fine. It's close enough. Okay, so in this definition, there are 3 things mentioned. What are the 3 things mentioned in this definition? And by the way, all of these are already in the definition, but we're just mentioning them so they're more clear. So what do we exactly mean?
And to have a true reliance in Allah, that you believe that Allah will you believe Allah will bring this about for you, and to also come with the necessary means.
So the first is truthful in your dependence upon Allah. The second is that you are confident that Allah has fulfilled, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fulfill His promise. And lastly, you take the worldly means. Okay, very good. Jazakallah khair. Ya Ridwan. Okay, Ridwan, I want you to give me definitions. Okay, so explain to me, if you can remember. This might be a bit of a hard question, but what is raghbah, what is rahbah, what is khushu', what's khashya, what's inaba, what's isti'aza, istighatha, and isti'ana, isti'aza, and istighatha. Okay, I'll mention each one and you give me the definition. So the first one, raghbah and rahbah. These first
2. It's rahba is to have fear and to run away from the thing that is causing the fear. Raghba is to have the desire for something that you want to do and you want to achieve it.
Okay, what's the difference between raghba, rahba, and fear and hope?
With the khashya.
No, with the khashya. Raghba, rahba, it's just similar to fear and hope, but there's a difference which I mentioned. Do you remember?
It's accompanied by action. The other one isn't.
Accompanied by actions. This is the thing with the English. In the English, it doesn't mention it. I've got English here with me. A fear which leads one to flee from the object he or she fears. However, in the Arabic, they missed out something. The Shaykh Haytham says in the Arabic, الرهبة الخوف المثمر للهرب من المخوف فهي خوف مقرون بعمل. فهي خوف مقرون بعمل. This is an important thing. It's fear, but accompanied with it is is action, بعمل. So that's very important. Okay, khushu'.
Tranquility. Submission and tranquility in the thing that you are worshipping, Allah. A full submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
It's humbling oneself to the greatness of Allah by submitting to His universal and legislated decree. Okay, so you on the right lines, but that's what the book mentioned. I try to learn it like that. Okay. Just before we move on, by the way, what are the three, the pillars of ibadah, or remember the example of the bird that we gave?
Love, hope, and fear. The wings of the bird are hope and fear, and the head is love.
The head is love. Now, Shaykh Haytham Sarhan doesn't mention the head because the author doesn't mention it, but we're just mentioning it for to have a clearer picture. Okay, what's khashiyah?
It is fear upon knowledge of the one that the person worships, i.e. Allah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So it's fear with knowledge. What's inaba?
I forgot.
Turning back to Allah.
Turning back to Allah.
Okay.
Inaba is more than istighfar.
It's more than tawbah and istighfar.
Yeah.
Okay. But how is it more? It's because it has the actions after it. You have the actions with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Tawbah is just asking Allah to forgive you, but then later on you'll go back to it. Whereas inaba is, see, the Arabic. What's the English? What is the English? Number 2, returning to Allah by obeying Him and staying away from sins. See, returning to Allah by obeying Him and staying away from sins. This means you submit to Allah since we are slaves, and a slave must submit to his master. The master is Allah, as the Prophet ﷺ said, Sayyidullah. Okay, what's isti'ana?
Okay, to seek help. No, that's isti'ana. Is it? Okay.
I know there's quite a few Arabic words.
These parts I get mixed up on.
Yeah, they're similar. Okay, what's isti'adha?
Seeking help and reliance. No, that's the first one, isn't it?
Reliance and refuge.
Refuge, yeah.
It's from the word a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Okay, what's istighatha?
Okay, to seek a need from the person, from the thing.
Yeah, it's seeking help from Allah, but that is similar to isti'ana. However, the difference is istighatha is when you are in a calamity and hardship and difficulty.
Okay,
that's good. Okay, these three that we mentioned, isti'ana, isti'adha, and istighatha, you're allowed to do this of the creation when. So isti'ana means asking for help. When can I ask the creation for help? For example, I asked you to make that poster. It's allowed. Why?
So again, Sheikh, my connection with low.
Sorry?
My connection with low, so I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. I said the last three things, isti'ana, isti'adha, and istighatha. You're allowed to ask this of the creation.
Yeah.
When?
When they're alive, when they're able to do the thing that you asked them, that they're present and reachable, and no, it's with the twos and the proven and legislated.
La. What you were saying, right? Those 4 conditions. They have to be alive, present, able.
I was asking that
one. Okay. No, we're just a means. That's fine. But those 4 conditions have to be there. Okay. That's good. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
Okay, Mawdud. What are the different types of sacrifice?
The different types of there are 3 types of sacrifice. First one is the sacrifice done for the sake of Allah, like in Hajj or for Eid al-Adha or for an Aqiqah, which is this is something that you're rewarded for. The second type is the dab done for other than Allah, for example a jinn, this is major shirk. And
It's done for other than Allah out of love and veneration. That's very important to put that. Because if I do it other than Allah, for example, a guest comes and I give him a sacrifice for him, that's not shirk. That's the third type. So you have to add of love and veneration, i.e. in terms of like worship, etc. Okay. What's the ruling on this?
And this is major shirk.
Good.
And the third one is the permissible slaughter, which is done to serve the guests.
An example is serving the guests. That's permissible. That's fine. Okay, very good. Okay, we're gonna finish. What does nazar mean?
Nazar is like is a vow. It's like vowing or making a promise to Allah.
Well, similar. It's making something obligatory upon yourself that wasn't already obligatory. That's the definition, okay? And it's important to know because even the brother asked me this last time at the end in the Q&A. I didn't really answer it. He asked me what's the difference between nazar and yameen and halif. Yameen and halif are the same thing. So what's the difference between the two? The difference basically is nazar is making something obligatory for yourself, whereas yameen is just swearing by Allah. So for example, wallahi I did this, or wallahi I didn't do this. Okay, so they're very similar though. And why the ulama, for example, fiqh, they make it into one bab, kitab al-aymani wal nuzur. Okay, but nazar itself is what? For those that don't understand that, it's okay. But nazar itself is making something obligatory that wasn't obligatory upon you. This was two types. What are the two types of nazar?
So I forgot what I said.
For Allah and for other than Allah.
Oh yes, the first one is for Allah, which is something that you're rewarded for. For example, someone said, not rewarded actually. Someone says, if, for example, if I pass.
One second. Those on Instagram is going off. I'm just going to. It says I've got 15 seconds left. It's going to finish. I'll turn this off and then come back again. And we're at the last thing anyway. So it's only another 2 or 3 minutes, inshallah. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, some people are just saying Assalamu alaikum. I mentioned this. Okay. Okay, if you just say it in the heart, no. Not really. No, really can't. I don't think it would, but Wallahu alam. If I remember later, I'll check for you, inshallah. But from what's apparent, it's not really, that's not another, that's more just a determination. I'm going to do it. But if you say it, then it counts. Are there conditions? Okay, with regard another, okay, there's the conditions, there's also a kafara, meaning if you don't do it, there's like something you have to give. We're just going to focus on like the tawheed part of it. As for the fiqh part of it, there's a whole chapter on fiqh. And inshallah, we might take some of those in the next book. Kitab al-Tawheed, there's a whole chapter just on nazar. Chapter number 11, I believe. Chapter number 11. No, chapter 11 is that fihi abada. Chapter number, Allah musta'an. على كل حال اسم كتاب التوحيد. اسم كتاب التوحيد. Zainab. Well, if you've got something to say, then type it, but I'm not going to be testing the sisters. Okay, could you please answer what are the two types of vows? Okay, before I go to the Q&A, this last one. Okay, the two types of vows, Mawdud, like you mentioned, the first one is a vow for Allah, and the other is nazar li ghayrillah, for other than Allah, meaning you swear by something other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you swear by I don't know, by somebody, parents, you swear by other than Allah. swearing for Allah, are you saying Wallahi, Billahi, Tallahi, etc.? Okay, swearing for Allah is two types. Do you remember swearing for Allah is two types?
I don't know.
Okay, whoever knows, put their hand up.
I don't know.
Whoever knows, put their hand up. You don't know? Okay, khair. Jazakallah khair, but you did. Abdul Fattah, tell me, the nazar for Allah is explained in two types. What are they?
نذر طاعة نذر معصية.
Nazar ta'a, nazar ma'asiyah, which means?
Swearing to do good, and you have to do fulfill it, and معصية is to do a sin that's not allowed.
Okay, the nazar for Allah is two types. Nazar ta'a, which means a vow of obedience, that you vow to do a good action, an act of obedience. Whereas nazar ma'asiyah is you make a vow to do a sin. And if you make a vow to do a sin, say, Wallahi, I will drink alcohol, for example. That does not count. Okay, it's haram for you to do. And it's also, it's haram for you to carry out. You don't carry out. Hadith of Aisha, من نذر أن يطيع الله فليطيعه. Whoever makes a nazar to obey Allah, then obey him. ومن نذر أن يعصي الله فلا يعصي. And whoever makes a nazar to disobey Allah, then do not disobey him. Do not fulfill that vow that you took. Okay, the last thing, Abdul Fattah said, the nazar for other than Allah, what's the ruling on it? So when I swear by other than Allah, what's the ruling on that?
It's shirk.
It's shirk. What you guys need to know is shirk. I know I mentioned last time it could be major shirk, minor shirk. It doesn't really matter. I asked Shaykh Haytham this, and there's a bit of tafsil to it, and there's a bit of khilaf between ulama. So you don't need to worry about exactly what the difference is. But you know, swearing by other or making a vow other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is shirk. Whether it's minor or major, it is still shirk. And shirk, some people think minor shirk or just minor. La, minor shirk, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never forgive it. Minor shirk is worse than major sins. Because it's shirk. It's shirk. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't forgive it. Okay? So minor shirk is minor compared to the major, but it's still shirk. It's still shirk. So for example, you have, let's say you have two things. You have, I don't know, let's think of cars. You have a Toyota, for example, and then you have a Ferrari. But Ferrari in of itself, there's different types of Ferraris, right? I don't know my cars, so but there's different types. So you might have one which might be the worst Ferrari out there. So you would call it, let's say, a minor Ferrari or a bad Ferrari. Okay, it's bad Ferrari, but it's still a Ferrari compared to the Toyota. There's a big difference, right? Same thing here. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. The example was made on the spot. Hopefully it makes sense, inshallah. But minor shirk is something which is very, very important. Alhamdulillah, with this, we finished the revision session. I'll take a few questions, inshallah. I didn't mention every single thing. Okay, for example, I did miss out a few things. Why did the author mention Adillah? The three reasons for that. A few points here and there. But these are the main things what we meant for right now. They are the main things what you need to know. Just before the Q&A, the memorization for next lesson is 2.5 pages. So this page what you can see right now, page 56, Al-Asl al-Thani, Ma'rifat al-Din al-Islam bil-Adillah, this page. The next page after that, Fadalil al-Shahada, this whole page. Until the end of the ayah. So until فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَقُولُوا اشْهَدُوا بِأَنَّا مُسْلِمُونَ. So just less than 2.5 pages, inshallah. The actual lesson itself, again, isn't too hard. However, I don't want to make the memorization too much. The next lesson is Tuesday, bi'idhnillah, at 10 p.m. UK time, or midnight Saudi time, or a different time, depending wherever you're from. We'll take some questions now, inshallah. Will there be ijazah matan or only the sharh? Official ijazah will be ijazah sama'. That's if I give you out. I said in the beginning, it's not 100% sure. But it'll be in the matan. As for the sharh, I mean, it's not proper ijazah. I mean, Shaykh Haytham give me like a general ijazah. He said, teach the book. However, so you'll, if I see that you know the matan inside out properly, then I can give you ijazah like that. Some types of worship, it's differentiated by action. With fear, I'm still confused. Okay, go back to raghba and rahba. Raghba, simply, raghba means longing for something, wanting something. And rahba is you being fearful of something. That's the same as khawf, which means fear, and raja means longing. It's the exact same thing. However, the difference is khawf is just fear. Rahba is fear but with action. Okay, and then the same thing for al-raja. Raja is longing for the mercy of Allah and for Him to and for His reward. However, raghba is the exact same, longing, but it's with action. So you want that from Allah, so you physically go out and do actions. Physically go out and you do the actions, you pray, you fast, etc. Similar, but that's a small difference, inshallah. Could you give an example of a rahba? Rahba is an action of the heart. Give an example, Allah alam, but you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so you go and you pray, you make dua, and so on. Making nazar is something which isn't recommended, because you're making something obligatory. I mean, it's khilaf on exact ruling, okay? But we don't go into that. However, it shouldn't be done. Making some, because now you're making something obligatory upon yourself, which isn't obligatory. You know, as most of the time we just about do the things which are obligatory. Now we're going to make more things which are obligatory. That shouldn't be done, because you might say it at a time, thinking that you can do it, and then you got to do it. Like the story of my friend. He said, "Oh Allah, if I get accepted in Jamia Islamiyah, I'll do i'tikaf the last 10 days in Makkah." And you got to remember, some people might think that's good, but he's been here for a whole year. He's missed his family. Okay, and we at that time we get holidays before Ramadan, so he's going to stay here the whole Ramadan. And he wants to go home to his family. He's not seen them for a year. A year, right? It's not as easy as some people think it will be. So then he had to stay till Eid, and I think he ended up doing Eid here as well, because the flight at the end was, I think, too expensive or something. I can't remember exactly. Any other questions from Instagram? Some of the questions I see here, don't worry, I'm not answering. Like I said, sometimes, maybe most of the time, because I don't know, so I don't want to say anything at the moment. Or sometimes I know, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so that still counts as me not knowing. Or sometimes I don't see it appropriate to be asked the question. Hence why something really important is the word saying the words "I don't know." Okay, some people think that by you saying "I don't know," that lowers your your level in knowledge. In fact, it increases you, because it shows that in knowledge and in religion, because it shows that you have fear of Allah, that you don't talk about the religion of Allah without knowledge. That's from the major sins. And also in knowledge, because you know exactly what you know or you don't know. And it's very important. And just because somebody says he doesn't know, it doesn't mean that he doesn't know completely. I remember one of the mashayikh, I forgot who, they mentioned that saying "I don't know" has a number of meanings. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he does know, but he's not 100% sure. Maybe he doesn't see it to be befitting to be mentioned at that time. Shaykh Qasim does that a lot. His lesson, you have to write. He doesn't allow questions to be said straight to him. During the lesson, you got a question, just write it down and pass it to the person in front of you and give it to the Shaykh. Sometimes the Shaykh will look at it and put it to the side. He won't answer it. Sometimes I'll have a question, or Shaykh wants this answer, and he just won't. He won't answer it. And that goes back to the wisdom of the Shaykh. Sometimes the teacher learns more than the student by teaching. Yeah, I learn so much more. For example, I'm going questions now regarding nazar and everything. I remember taking this. I took this 2 years ago, but I've not really revised Imam on Wudu, so that's what I'm not 100% sure. So now it's going to force me to go back and check, and I want to learn. Sometimes questions come which I've not even thought of the question, so I have to go back, check, ask my teachers, etc. Because I'm speaking out loud, it solidifies that knowledge, and also it shows how much I know. If I'm able to explain it properly, it shows that I know it. Teaching is something very important. And we already mentioned the learning pyramid, the learning period in the beginning of in the second lesson. But the second or third lesson, we talked about the learning pyramid, and teaching somebody else is one of the best ways to retain one's knowledge. Do you plan to teach another book after this for the public? Inshallah, plan is after Usūl Thalāthah, depending on when we finish. Maybe we might, once we finish the book, we'll just take a break and finish off Ramadan. After Ramadan, maybe we could do Al-Qawaid Al-Arba' and Nawaqid Islam. Then after that, I'm thinking still, maybe the book after that Shahid Farhan told us was Ad-Durus Al-Muhimma by Ibn Bas, Ya'amat al-Ummah. Important lessons for the whole Ummah. That's an amazing book. It has Tawheed in it, which most of it is original Surah Thalatha. It also has tafsir in it, as manners, as fiqh, salah, zakah, hajj. So it's a very, very good book. So maybe we can do that book, or maybe we can finish off Shaykh Qasim's matan, do 40 nawiyah, 40 hadith, but we have plans to teach, inshallah. I graduate this semester, so inshallah we have a lot of plans coming along for lessons. Difference in Nazar and Halif. I mentioned this. I said Nazar is making something obligatory upon yourself, and Halif is just swearing by Allah. Is it okay to memorize Quran and Matan at the same time? Yeah, that's the opinion of Shaykh Qasim. However, give more importance to the Quran and make the Matan something on the side. And the reason for this is because, and this is generally if you're older, because if you wait to finish the Quran, then you're going to get to Mutun and you're really old. But obviously, memorizing the Quran is great, so give that importance. Hence why I said those who are in like an actual Quran class, memorizing the Quran properly, and this will be too much for them, don't memorize the Mutun, focus on the Quran. However, most people, they say, how can you tell us to memorize Mutun? Quran is first. Okay, go memorize Quran then. Most people don't memorize Quran. So at least with this, you're sticking to a program where you're memorizing the Matan, we're revising, you're going to know it properly, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Some other questions are being asked about Ramadan, Quran. They are not part of the topic. Tips for fighting laziness of reading Quran. Get somebody on top of you, like a teacher, who stays on top of you. And have goals, set yourself goals. Class, we'll stop there, inshallah. The lesson is going over 1 hour. It's fine, I don't mind, because it's a revision session. The next lesson, I've mentioned what to memorize. We'll stop here, inshallah. I see everyone on Tuesday, bismillah. Barakallahu feekum. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.